First off, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to those elders and apostles out there from Great Millstone who teach and rule well. A lot of respect to you brothers out there on the highways and byways preaching this truth around the four corners of the earth. And salutations to the hopeful elect that you guys may be sealed soon. And hopefully by the mercy and grace of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, all those brothers and sisters that's in the truth, all the elders and apostles that's been teaching and ruling well, hopefully we part of elect. With that being said, this is your brother Dawaba from the branch of GMS here in Chicago, coming right back at you with a little lesson. And hey, this is just gonna be something to the lesson. I've been guilty of this myself. You know, people give you advice, man, and sometimes you gotta understand that it's good advice. All advice ain't doctrine. Sometimes it's just good advice. You know, good advice could be me sitting up here telling a brother, hey, look, man, maybe you want to take some money out the bank and keep some in the house because you'll never know when an ATM you might not be able to get cash out of the ATM. Hey, good advice could be almost anything, hey, putting on 2 pairs of socks, man, when you outside, man, because of the cold weather. All advice sometimes is just good advice. All advice ain't doctrine, And sometimes, brothers, we got to keep that in mind and discern that the advice that we get, sometimes it's just personal advice to us, just for us to sit up here and maneuver through life. So with that, man, let me get Proverbs 27 and 17. Iron is sharpened iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. All right, D. So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So my thing is iron sharpeneth iron. So my thing is when there's 2 guys, man, and y'all sitting up here, just like with the doctrine, like 2 guys be out there on the highways and byways. If one guy falls, another guy is capable of helping them. And that also goes in everyday life, man. Sometimes you just need the counsel of a friend, man. Sometimes you can ask a friend a question and they can give you an answer, sometimes, whether it be through the scriptures, but sometimes just through their own experience with life, especially if it's an older gentleman talking to a younger person. Sometimes that experience helps you maneuver through life. And sometimes you got to understand that counsel that you're getting from that guy probably is just through experience. Now we filter everything that we do in life through the scriptures, but sometimes you got to also understand that sometimes experience, a man might know, a brother might sit up here and then seen so many things in life that he just pass on to you, like, hey, certain ideas, maybe keeping your tank half full in the winter, hey, having a little extra money on you, all that is just sound advice, Not everything is going to be doctrine. A lot of it's just good advice. So with that, let me sit up here and get Ecclesiasticus 34. And I want to say it's 6, but I can't remember if it's 34 and 6. Hold on. Oh, my fault. It's 34 and 9. A man that hath traveled ignored many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. So, a man who's been around for a long time and have seen many things can sit up here and has experience. Like I sit up here and said, just like with Apostle Paul, when he sit up here and said that, he would rather every man not marry. But if you have to marry, go ahead and marry. But that was just sound advice, because here it is, when you marry, that means that you have to dedicate time to your wife. And sometimes that time that you're dedicating to your wife could take away from the ministry. And that was the whole point. But the whole point of the matter is that was just sound advice. A lot of things is just good advice for brothers. Sometimes you just got to accept it as advice. Everything is not doctrine that a brother would tell you. Sometimes it's just good advice between you and that brother. That brother's just giving you some knowledge that he's learned along the way that could probably be beneficial to you, And like I said before, I've been guilty of it. Here it is, a brother could give me advice, and here it is, I could say something to another brother. Oh, man, this is advice. It's not necessarily trying to say that I'm trying to say it's doctrine, but sometimes, you're just trying to help out brothers because that advice, man, sometimes that advice is so good that you want to sit up here and share it, but sometimes you do it in the wrong way. And that was the only point. That was the only reason behind this. Hey, sometimes it's a good idea, brothers. If you get advice from a brother, sometimes that advice is just probably good between you and that brother. And that's all I was going to sit up here and say. But like it says here in Ecclesiasticus 34:9, a man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom. So my thing is, getting advice from a brother who's been around, Salakia, who's been around, especially for a long period of time in his truth. Even an older guy who's been around for many years and might know many things could sit up here and tell you a little bit about life and give you sound advice where you can maneuver through life a lot more easier. And the other thing that I want to sit up here and get was there it is. Here it is. This was the one I wanted to get. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be bought under the power of any. And sometimes that's just good advice because, a brother could give you advice. A brother could say things to you like, hey, man, it might not be a good idea to have many wives. But my thing is, because you got to understand, if a brother gives you that advice, it's not sitting up here trying to tell you what to do. It's just sound advice. Because having many wives means that's that time that you have to put toward them and the effort that you have to put toward them, and you'll never know. Then them wives, you could put so much effort toward them that it can kick you out of the truth. Or just like a brother might sit up here and say, man, don't concentrate on all these jobs. If you got a job, don't concentrate on getting another job that's making more money if it's not needed. Because if you make more money, that means that job could take you away from the truth and kick you out of the truth. That's just sound advice, That's just sound advice. It's all right to have a lot of women. It's okay to have money. It's okay to have a job. But some things can hurt you in the long run if that's what you put all your focus on. So advice is advice. So when a brother gives you advice, man, a lot of times it's just due to the simple fact that, it's just that brother's experience. So that was the whole point behind this. I mean, there was a scripture I was looking for and I couldn't particularly find it. And if I do, maybe I'll just do a second part to this. But I couldn't find the scripture I really wanted. But I hope this was edifying enough to brothers, man. Like when you get advice, brothers, sometimes it's just good sound advice, man, to help you maneuver through life. Everything is not doctrine that a brother would tell you. Sometimes it's just good advice through experience. So with that, I hope I didn't ramble on, and I hope everything I said, I hope everything I said, didn't offend anybody or anything like that, And other than that, like I said before, it's just experience that sometimes brothers use when they give you advice. So with that, I hope, like I said before, it's edifying. I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, double honors to those elders and apostles out there from Great Millstone who teach and rule well. Allow respect to you brothers out there on the highways and byways, preaching this truth around the four corners of the earth, and salutations to the hopeful elect that you guys may be sealed soon. And with that, I always say stay prayed up, brothers. Pray for each other because we almost up out of here. So with that, I like to say Kwam Yasharella and Abba Ball. Shalom.